Welcome to Sad Boyz, a podcast about feelings and other things also. I'm Jarvis.
I'm Jordan. Jacob, what face do I make during the intro, do you think, usually?
It always seems like you're caught off guard a little.
Like this? But also thoughtful?
Exactly.
It's like you're doing a
That one
thumbnail.
right
yeah.
there. Yeah.
Just keep that. Just hold that.
That's honestly we've talked before about the most humiliating part of anything related to our career is the thumbnail. Wrapping up an episode, guest or no, and it's like we're about to get maybe have lunch and we're like, oh, thumbnails. And
Do
we
you
sit
remember?
back down and
Speaking of that, do you remember the wedding that we went to? We had an insane week.
it was a little twisted, I'll say it.
Yeah. So on Sad Boyz Nightz today, we share a birthday. Fun fact. It was our birthday on Monday, so we have some stories from that. But yeah, we're talking about that. We'll talk about some people. We're gonna have a good old time. It's gonna be just a grand old time over there. Okay, so there in the 11th hour, we were trying to think of things to talk about. We did have a bunch of stuff, so that's why there's other things on nights. But in the 11th hour, someone came to me with a pitch that I could not turn down, that I cannot deny. It was award-winning young adult novelist Claribel Ortega. Shout out. DM'd me and said, "This is the Fyre Fest of book festivals," and I was like, "Qua?"
Put those pieces. A bunch of people drowning on a beach or something.
I was like, "Tell me more." Yeah, it's when you get a piece of toast and cheese next to your Harry Potter book. So apparently there's this, and I don't know anything about this, but we do have a collection of TikToks that have been sent to us.
It was held the 2nd and 3rd of this month in May in Maryland. There were several pricing options. Tickets range from $50 to $250.
I've got bad eyesight, but I can't read any of it.
This
No,
is a
it's-
GeoCities page. I mean,
Well, so the idea is like, what if the background was a piece of paper, but like really zoomed in so you could see like all of the ruffles?
yeah, the pores.
So you could see the pores
And then
in the
what
paper.
if everything written on it was almost the same color?
Yeah. That way it hurts your eyes to read.
It's
And
not
that's
a-
why you shouldn't read, everyone.
Yeah, not a great sign for people putting on a reading-based event.
Okay, so bad website doesn't necessarily mean bad festival. Million Lives, also kind of bad name. I don't know what the inspiration is.
Yeah, like what?
I feel like it's like when you're reading, you can live
Live
a million lives.
Okay.
Oh,
Big
so
book.
romantic. I love
Remember, okay. So there's a thing, speaking of reading and the word million. When I was a kid, I want to say there was a thing called Million Minutes of Reading.
that. Oh,
And I think it was like a thing where you would read and log the minutes that you would read. And then there's like a leaderboard and there was nothing to stop you from lying, which I found weird.
And then there's like collectively a pushing towards.
I guess so, like as a school.
so
And you get a book. That's the prize. The prize is you get books.
Yeah.
I'm a little older than you, and by a little I mean a lot.
Shut
and
up.
We just had a birthday, so we're closer now.
you're closer now. You were
We're
gaining
closer.
on me actually.
Yeah.
And
I'm aging faster because I'm so fast.
Time's arrows hitting me faster and
Yeah.
harder.
we had this really cool thing called the Pizza Hut Book Club, where you read a bunch of books.
Much about Domino's,
Yeah,
actually.
you can believe it. You have to read
and
in
you
a pizza.
get, after a certain number of books, you get a coupon for a free personal pan pizza. I read so many books, I won my school's like
Whoa.
top prize. And
What'd you get?
I remember my crush at the time, whose name I can't remember. I was going to shout him out.
Ooh, that's gonna sting.
They gave me my little coupon for a pizza and a fake rose, and he was sitting next to me on the floor, and he put the rose in my hair.
Okay. Riz.
And you
This
don't
is
remember
in
his name.
first grade.
Wow.
Can you imagine having that much Riz in first grade?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
unfortunately
From
can.
my experience. being a
When I was in first grade, we had nap time, and when everybody was supposed to be sleeping, my crush came over and gave me a kiss. So
Damn.
Oh, that's great. No, she actually gave me a kiss first. I know who you're talking about. And then we said, as a joke, you should do it for Jarvis also. Go.
Wait.
No, I was like, it's powering up.
okay, so let's just jump in. So it was a disaster, but I don't know in what way. Was there like a one-liner for like what this convention even is? Festival even is?
Impossible to know. Can't be read on this
Description.
website.
Oh yeah. A Million Lives Book Festival is the perfect event to make more bookish friends. This event will include a vendor hall, panels, a content creation room. Okay.
Just a
Fandom cosplay meetups. It's finally a room I can do content in. Fandom cosplay meetups, a cosplay competition, and a ball.
Dude.
Now, they're actually referencing the DashCon the ball pit.
But there's only one left.
One ball.
Dude, wait, go back, Zach. Schedule is coming soon.
Schedule.
Oh, it's been Maryland.
All right.
Thank you.
To Jurassic Park.
Welcome to the fantasy ball. Oh, this is the ball. Oh my God, and she got all dressed up.
And it's probably...
No!
That is absolutely outrageous.
Dude, this is the second coming of DashCon. It's just missing the ball pit right now.
This is
my
our
God,
DJ.
Aw.
And it's just a
And it's like a
wireless
little
speaker.
Joby.
Oh,
Oh, Steve.
like the guy.
Oh,
Wow.
Dude, you can't have something at your event have less production value. A gala of all things have less production value than the Willy Wonka event
It's
in
so
Liverpool
tough.
or whatever.
Dude, people underestimate how hard it is to run events.
It sucks. It's like
Every
a ton
one
of,
of my
shit.
friends, like we have friends who run events and stuff, I have the utmost respect
Yes.
because of how difficult. All right, a million lives.
It's kind of like if you like throw a party that's like singing a song at karaoke, and then organizing a convention is like conducting an orchestra.
Yes.
It's like there's so many pieces that can go wrong, and that's why we get Firefest, DashCons, this thing's thingy.
That's
whatever.
why it's better to under promise and then over deliver.
So we've seen a little bit of the ball, and
But
we'll see more
that's-
of the ball.
Look, we'll expose as much of the ball as we have to.
I love ball, and but let's look at the perspective from
You're a seal.
a vendor. Welcome to the Million Lives Book Festival, an event so poorly planned that it's trending.
This is.
$10 wine. I mean, look,
Wowza.
Oh wow.
Oh, so people put in so
Oh
much
my
effort in their
God, the
costume.
cosplays look so good too.
To summarize, I guess for anybody that you're doing dishes, you can't look at the TV right now. It's in the other room. Your boyfriend's watching it. You can't get there in time. And
Yeah,
he's not
words
gonna
words
decide.
like barren come to mind.
yeah, wasteland.
Empty.
There was like
Vault.
really not that many vendors there. Like
I mean, it looks
five?
like
I don't know.
vendors turned up at a regular empty warehouse.
Yeah.
It should have crates. That's a locale that in like Law and Order SVU, they go to interview someone. They're like, damn, just from the box moving factory. Hey, I didn't see nothing. I got to go into the empty warehouse and make sparks.
And so we, like you, were going to try to piece together a mental image of what occurred here by hearing the perspectives of many people. This person is their name is Carmen Chantel, and they're an audiobook narrator, and they were supposed to be at a panel.
A couple weeks ago, I reached out to the organizer to see if I could possibly assist with the narrator panel. And the day before the narrator panel, I was told that yes, indeed, I was able to moderate. So I got to, for the first time ever, moderate a narrator panel.
Amazing.
And my
Damn.
voice is a little bit weak right now because when I tell you that I used it, I fucking used it. I yelled as loud as I could with permission from the organizer. I announced that the narrator panel was going to be happening in 15 minutes. I shouted that shit as loud as I could because I wanted people to attend.
So my first question is like, where is she yelling this?
I wonder if it's just like in the main hall.
In the
They
main
didn't have
hall?
a PA system.
Yeah,
so they
Somebody
couldn't
had
be
taken
like,
the Beats pill. Nobody had access to that right now. It was.
Like I bet it was a room.
Yeah.
If not that room
Everything
that we
is
just
in
saw.
that room. You just have to
Yeah.
shout out
It is. I mean, it's a
like a town crier.
Hear ye!
Ringing a big bell.
Dost thou want to hear the novel adaptation spin-off of Game of Thrones for kids?
Narrated by the guy who did the Witcher books.
The Polish guy. He's doing it in English.
Oh, yeah, the author of the Witcher.
You guys are amazing. You guys are troopers. I want to apologize for not being able to assist with better accommodations during the panel. It was a really great panel
Surely
with
not
really
your
great
fault.
narrators and really insightful questions. If you want to see what the panel looked like and at least the beginning and the end of it, my event PA live streamed the narrator panel. Here it is. And thank you again.
Well, this is a narrator panel for a million lives. This is a narrator panel. Audiobook narrators are just like a form of being a voice actor.
Oh my God.
I mean, it's just
They don't have chairs.
It can't have like
The setup was wild for this.
it's waiting until everyone's turned up for the school dance.
Yeah.
You turned up too early for the fifth
This
grade
is
prom.
you're someone who forgot to bring a lawn chair to camp out to the new iPhone.
Yeah. I suppose culturally we should set a standard. The Firefest folks, the Triple Fs can take note of this as well. Any event, air quotes, that you pay for should have like better accommodations than a brunch that was organized the same morning.
Yeah, things I'm not seeing. Chairs.
I mean, a
Table.
stage would be too much to ask, I think, at
A
this
stage
point.
would be too much to ask. I'm
But-
gonna start at the ground level because we're sitting on that.
We'll start.
And I'm gonna say let's get up off the ground with a chair. Maybe let's add a table. And then also I'm thinking security,
Mics.
microphones. Now you're asking a bit much.
Now we go crazy.
That's asking a lot.
That's
but-
asking a lot.
What are they supposed to do? Have them?
Especially for narrators, they can't be. They got to protect their.
They're like
their
project,
work, you know?
narrate with your voice.
Well, it's also like I want to know how much each of these people that were at this panel paid for their ticket. Was it the $50 one, which also not worth it?
Criminal.
Or was it, if it was the $250 one, what are you getting?
Well, you get access to a room.
Oh.
They should have they should have got the $50 and
Hey,
then
the
splashed
floor
on getting an
has
office
carpet.
chair.
Like
what do you
for
want?
200 for the low low price of $250, you get to be in a room.
Yeah.
Which is exciting.
You get your own fold-out chair, maybe.
I like that she gave us nothing in the setup for this. So
I
good,
had
'cause
I had higher expectations.
Me too.
Genuinely.
The way she set it up, I thought a crime had occurred. Yeah.
Oh, I kept spinning my 6-shooters around and sorry for all the bullets.
Okay, I'm addicted, dude. I gotta see
So
more.
the panels were available to only people who paid $150.
Shut
or
the
more.
fuck up.
No way!
What do you get for the
Because the
first
50
one?
The
Just
vendors.
the vendor. You get to buy
You had
stuff.
to go to the store.
for the low price of $50, you get to go to the store.
I got the
And
Disney.
it's only on May 3rd.
Dude, I got the Disney Fast Pass so I could go to the gift shop.
Okay.
And then go home.
Here's my thoughts on the $50 one, because like whenever you go to like a convention, like a Comic-Con or something, if I pay $50 for like a WonderCon
You're a
ticket,
conner.
say,
You're a consman.
watch it.
You don't know you got a cons.
You're a Conrads pants.
yeah, you're,
You're a con.
but you're pretty. You've got your con hours in. You've been a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah.
those.
You're a con man.
I love a convention. And I paid like what $50 to get into WonderCon, and it's like most of what I do at a convention is walk the vendor hall and shop and go to Artist Alley. But
what people
you
are
have-
missing, but that you are in a cool outfit because you did a cosplay.
You get to.
You're
can
like
see the
dressed up as like an
cosplay, you're also in
animatronic
cosplay.
demon, angel, bear, like kind of really just take your pick of the
I
animatronic
really just
that
take
you
like
are.
my normal outfit off for the day, and then I'm in my.
Yes,
I'm
you're
like,
dressed up
Right.
in your exposed gears and cogs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you are going to, so if you're going to one of those conventions, there's Artist Alley. There's a lot of like cool merch you can get. There's stuff you can't get other places.
There's
Versus
other
if you're
not
going
depressed
to
people.
a book convention and you get to
forgot
go,
it was about
you
books.
pay $50 to go see these authors. All you're buying from them is their books, which you could probably get for cheaper, just like online from them.
I just realized
I
if
assume-
there's one
okay.
event that have chairs, it's a reading event.
Yeah.
That's the main place people do it.
I will say that like it can like I can imagine an Artist Alley type thing for people who are illustrators for books, for like
'cause
book covers.
in Artist
and-
Alley, they usually have like comic book
Yeah.
artists or like.
So I'm not saying I'm actually saying a book convention sounds really cool.
Mhm.
And it's like very cool to and it seems like the community was excited to get together. And unfortunately the organizer dropped the singular ball. Okay.
They dropped
Let's watch
the
a little bit
gala.
more of the voice actor panel.
Let's see.
Or the narrator
Let's see
panel.
it cut to the end when they got all the chairs in the stage out.
We are all pretty cool people. If you guys just want to ask us questions, hit us up on
Like, they're
Facebook,
making the
TikTok,
best of the
Instagram,
situation,
wherever you
right?
find us. Email us from our websites.
That's sweet.
We're happy to answer questions. And that's it. Thank you. Happy million lives.
I need to find out more. More.
I've collapsed so many chairs just by sitting.
Me too, dude. Yeah. Okay. So this is someone's experience as a featured author of color. So they were reached out to or reached out about being a part of the festival. And so this is their experience as what one would imagine is a like elevated guest. Like, you know, if I'm at VidCon and I've been lucky enough to be a featured creator there, they handle my hotel. We're doing programming at the event, so I'm booked on panels and things like that.
You don't have to go into a public space and yell that I'm on a panel soon.
Right.
I've
got badges. I can rest assured that there's security to keep me safe. So let's hear about what the experience is as a featured author of color.
Okay, so yes, I was at A Million Lives Festival this last weekend. I have a lot to say, but a lot of it has already been said.
So this TikTok is 9 minutes long, and we may not show the whole thing in full. So I just want to shout out Michaela Ornado, who is an author, and we'll link her stuff, but we'll show some like relevant clips throughout. But we're going to watch the whole thing, but you might not see the whole thing.
This started a long time ago. January, I believe, of last year is when I was reached out to to be a featured author. So when you are a featured author, there are certain things that are taken care of.
Agree. But most of the time when I hear about a horribly planned event, the thing that went wrong was that they were planning it last minute. Right. Like things fell through or whatever. But this is an abundance of time, over a year.
Usually the events that get really wrong is that they set their scope way too big. They book, say, like a venue that's way too big or in way too expensive a location.
They think we'll have a room that'll have chairs. They're like shooting for the stars.
We'll have I guess more than one chair in general.
Yeah. We'll have a PA system that's you just yell into a room and the echo saves money because it bounces your voice around the room.
We'll have a vendor hall that isn't inside what looks like a giant refrigerator.
And there will be a ball.
And there'll be a single ball pit for everyone.
You have certain perks, and basically it's supposed to be like, you have kind of like a spotlight, right?
You're a guest. You're adding value to the event by you being there. And that gets them through the door, and then they have the other value of seeing other people. It's like, and then you get this, oh, well, this author's going to be there and this person I like. And then that sells tickets.
Because not everyone is going to care about the same featured artists, but you're trying to cast a wide net so that there's enough of everyone that people might like, and people that might look vaguely appealing, and if they have a free hour, they see something new, discover something new.
Right.
I will say something I found especially kind of, I don't want to say sinister, because I don't think any of this comes from a particularly malicious place that I can tell so far. But I'm not much of a literature absorber. I'm gaming out. I actually play a game called Blvd. I'm kind of fucking with that right now. But I have in the past, my main industry was audio fiction and audio books in the production of, but also just like vast majority of my time, if we're not in season production, is communicating with artists and writers, mostly in YA in our case. And a lot of YA creators, that's like the most fervent fan base really that I've ever seen in anything.
Yeah.
And I would, bet anything that's a huge contingent of what the people that would attend this, but also the authors behind the work that people are attending to see and talk to. There is something so sad to me about this like super fervent, ultra enthusiastic, super inclusive community gathering around, and it was advertised on the website, hey, you're looking for more bookish friends? Are you just looking for people to connect with your interests? And the assumption that there's a freaking cosplay section, because there's a lot of crossover between those communities. It's fun to have that as like a conduit, and to go and if anything, maybe the one good thing is that they will meet other people having a crap time.
And BookTok is like my understanding is that BookTok is a pretty large community on TikTok. One would imagine that this big audience who's planning something like this would say, oh, hey, yeah, there's an opportunity for an opportunity to bring people together here.
But then we had like 16 months.
But you only had 16 months is the thing.
So I reached out 2 times through email and 1 through Discord because I didn't know where I was supposed to go. I knew that the Hilton was the room block. I assumed it was there, but I didn't know if I needed to give a confirmation number, if there was some kind of process that was given for the featured authors. I did not get a response for a long time, and then not even 24 hours before check-in, after I emailed multiple times, she responded to my email and said that I was moved to the days in, which is fine. a free hotel is a free hotel, but it was a very big jump from this very pretty Hilton that was, I think it was even connected to the convention center, like very close to the convention center, to the Days Inn. And the Days Inn was across the street. You know, I said, whatever. I used to live in this area. I was going to see my friends. It was fine.
They reach out in January of 2024. And then there's not a lot of correspondence between January and December of 2024, which is crazy.
It's like there's like an email. They're slow sometimes, you know?
And right, it's true. It does take me 11 months. Sometimes I never respond. They told her in December that they sold 400 tickets, which is sizable. And so she's like, okay, I'll bring, because she's an author and she's being featured here. So she's going to bring some number of books, 20, 30 books. And also as a part of being a featured creator or featured author here, she was going to be put up in the hotel. One would think it's the hotel of the con block. She didn't know, though, because no one communicated with her, which is wild.
Which is the whole job.
Because one, she's traveling and then she's staying and they're responsible for her accommodations. And surprise, last minute, she gets moved to the Days Inn across the street.
It's the thing. The thing to do is, like, if you're the restaurant, you got to make sure the chefs are there. That's it. And everything else can be crap, but that really does have to happen.
One thing. I mean, there's two things. There's the attendees, and then there's the people that you need to be there, both vendors and creators. You have to be on top of that stuff, because if they're not responding for months,
I would have pulled out.
Yeah, of course.
I don't think
I think the only reason she said she didn't is because it was local.
Yeah, it was
for
pretty
her.
close.
It would probably be, it's like a nice sentiment. It would mean a lot to people if it was what they were expecting, and it never hurts to go into a space and feel a little more represented or see someone you're a fan of, right? But it's the only answer is that they just hadn't booked it, right? Because to go through the diligence of booking it in advance and not sending it.
So I wonder if sometimes what happens is they're like, people are gonna buy tickets in advance, and then we'll use that money to make it happen.
The Ponzi scheme effect.
And it's like, that's not how this stuff works.
No,
you have to pay a bunch of money up front.
You do.
You have to,
if you want it to run smoothly,
book all the hotel rooms up front. You have to do
because the hotel's going to go, you didn't pay us, so we're not reserving this room block for you.
It's kind of why there's like not that many conventions. There's plenty, but it's not like
when one happens, it takes a lot of work
and money up front.
And a little too often, the bad story comes out of it because they fucked it up.
And when they run well, it's usually a large team of very dedicated people and volunteers. An
organization that you hire bespoke to do that too. It's like I can figure it out. Why would those businesses exist?
I mean, we're projecting all of this expertise onto these people. We don't know anything about the organizers, so maybe we'll learn something as we go.
Rub hands together.
Immediate red flag. I almost wanted to turn around and go home. But again, I was seeing my local friends. And at that point now, I did have one pre-order, and I knew of a couple of readers who were coming. So whatever, we deal with what we're given. So once it's time to check in to once it's time to unload into the actual convention center, I get there and my table is given away. Again, I am a featured author and my table is given away. I don't blame the person who was at my table. I think it was a case of the map being a hot mess and the people who were helping us find our tables not knowing where we were supposed to go.
This is like a nightmare.
So then she arrives, has issues checking in, but she's like, okay, I've got friends here, local. It's fine. I'll just deal with it. Convention starts, and I'm surprised to learn that they have a map for the convention.
Huge step forward.
And the map tells, a prospective reader or attendee where they can find the featured authors, where they can find the vendors that they want to find.
That sounds useful.
Sounds very useful, except for, whoops, she's now at a different table.
Dominoing.
So now the map is wrong. She knows of readers who are coming. They're not going to know where she is.
There's going to be another vendor that turns up and is like, oh, my table is now taken also. I mean,
musical chairs.
To be fair, if a map isn't correct, it kind of stops being a map. Now it's just a drawing.
It's an artist's interpretation of the convention.
It's just some rectangles that you made. Yeah, I don't think we can call like an 11th century interpretation of a map accurate anymore, right? They kind of figured it out a little more later on.
It's like I know it says Middle Earth, but this is actually New Jersey's map.
It seems wrong to me.
No, but it's right except for all of the places and names are different.
Okay, locking that in for next time that I'm questing.
Yep.
Doors open. Nobody comes in. Nobody. Like, nobody comes in. Over the next, 2 hours, maybe 15 people come in. By the end of the day, I would be gracious to say, 40 people came in on Friday.
Wow. Dude, devastating. It's the Partiful event says starts at 8. You get a little anxious because you're like, well, everybody turns up a little late.
I don't want to be first.
Getting to 9:30. I don't know.
How about 2 hours after starting?
Oh, well, and no one is
Imagine if PAX or something, no one was there.
They call the police.
For a popular convention, it's annoying how early people get in line for those things.
If a bunch of people, if that many people, even proportionally, just didn't turn up at all in that amount of time, I'd think that there must have been a war. Well, a war must have started or something.
And also, I don't know how to word this correctly. It was not my crowd. There were not people there looking for Black and brown fantasy or queer fantasy. The moment I said those words, a lot of people lost interest. So I think it speaks to the type of environment that you set. If you are another person of color or a queer person, you go where you think you will be comfortable. And I don't think that this was set up in a way where people of color or any marginalized people knew that they would be safe or that they would, have things that they're interested in.
I suppose you can't choose your taste, but she mentions them not having the audience there. And my first instinct was being like, wow, I feel like my experience of that audience is so diverse. And then I immediately remembered that usually you see a decent diversity of attendance to a successful event in fandom space and the like, because it is communicated that that's going to be the case. So in advance, you can say to yourself, well, is this a space I'm going to feel safe and comfortable? Oh, well, the website has these authors I like that I think would represent me and potentially bring in people I feel share a space or experience. But they left everything so late to be shown that the only people buying tickets, I guess, are people operating on I'll be safe, whatever.
Yeah, who even knew about this? Who even turned up?
That's what I was thinking. How was this advertised?
Yeah,
because it seems like, especially if the featured authors weren't getting information, so it's
their Instagram that you'd be advertising on. Surely,
but that's what I'm saying. Often, if Jarvis is a featured creator at VidCon will send him assets and say, okay, here's how you can post on your social media, and here's around the time that announcements are going out. And so clearly they didn't do that.
It's a coordinated thing.
I've been told that the BIPOC panel was narrated by a man, and that his questions were a little insulting. There's another panel where they sat on the floor, crisscross fucking applesauce.
Saw that.
Like it was kindergarten story time.
That was a little nostalgic.
We once moderated a convention, a smaller convention. Honestly, it sounds like there's more people there than this.
There's definitely more attendees. It was a creator.
It was a creator convention put on by Patreon, and we were MCs of the event as Sad Boyz, which is very funny.
As the Sad Boyz prior to Sad Boyz really being a
it was kind of a weird thing. It would be like if if you went up to a show and said, "Hey, we're the Bungle Boys."
In theory. We're thinking about being the Bungle Boys in maybe 4 years.
My example was just a different word with boys. It's fine. I didn't sleep that much either, man. I'm fucked up.
Yeah, but we're into boys at this point.
Okay, but anyway, what?
I meant the. Did I say that out
loud? But anyway, we were in the audience because we were emceeing, and there was a panel on the main stage. And the main stage panel, there were a lot of female writers on stage, and it was a panel around that. I can't remember the specific.
The general focal point ended up being, whether or not it was the initial topic, it ended up being it's hard to break into this space, and the online engagement
dealing with harassment as a woman online.
Bang.
And wouldn't you know it, it was narrated by a man. Panel of women talking about their lived experience as being a woman online writing stuff. And it was narrated by not just a man, but maybe the oldest man in the world.
Who was harassing them.
Imagine you joke. So it was like a man from old radio or whatever. And
it's the one you're picturing style. It is exactly that.
It's a man from old radio. And it was and he was moderating it, but he didn't know what questions to ask. And so it was how do you deal with bullies online? And then every one of these women would have like a impassioned, like very well thought out response. And then he'd be like, well, you were kind of asking for it, right?
Yeah.
It was just
actually amazing.
It was like, what? And then I can't even remember. It was just like the most victim blamey, like old media, old white guy, like rhetoric.
He's like,
ever.
what about you, sugar tits?
Yeah.
Hey, so what with all those?
And it's like, well, you're the hot one, so I assume you.
Now, you got a real set of gams on you. Do you think it's your fault, or you could maybe dress up a little less?
Yeah. You shouldn't have worn that if you weren't expecting.
Wouldn't you say?
Like,
If you
You're
didn't
a
want
hot
that in.
tomato with legs that go all the way up.
But then the ultimate.
What did you just say? I'm insulted.
But if there's the one thing that creates conflict or internal struggle for fellas like that, it is when someone fucking dares to push back a little by saying something like, well, I don't know if your life experience applies as much to this.
Oh, yeah.
Which.
And he got really defensive about it.
Oh my god!
Because literally, it would be like
That's not even pushing back.
No, it was like
it's just the case.
It was like literally these women talking about being these horrific stories of being like harassed, stalked, like. And then this guy was like, I think you're exaggerating a little bit.
I think it's like,
and then she was like, I don't know if you know what I experience online.
You need to be like a little less online. I think that's part of what's doing.
And it was like, whoa, you're getting emotional.
Yeah.
Like it was. I'm not
sick.
joking. It was like a greatest hits of. You know, like an old musician or something, they're like, man, they've just got so many classics. That was this old white guy hitting every...
He was pulling out all the classics.
Every classic, dude. It was crazy. She was asking for it.
Oh my God, vintage. Play the hits.
Yeah. You're so emotional. And then...
He's just playing Freebird. You're like, it's a classic, of course.
There was like... Anyway, our coworkers and everyone started to like, go, what do we do? And then just basically... immediately stopped the panel and like kicked him out.
He was moments later just gone.
Yeah.
And if I remember correctly, was a little sore online briefly.
Oh, I completely forgot he existed
didn't have,
once he left that room.
I don't think he had like the presence online for it to like reach the people involved, but
it's like people don't want to work anymore or whatever.
On his channel, which is like, probably it's a picture of a microphone going down and it's like NWSYNNC.
And here's how you do a high pass filter.
You'd think that the story ended where it started, but it had barely begun.
What was very...
Did you two have to follow that?
We did.
Yes,
So we go back on stage.
Thank God we were together.
We do in our classic fucking millennial ass. We go, that happened.
Just happened.
Uproarious applause.
Dude.
Everybody's like standing O. They're like... I think we basically just said "fuck that guy."
I think
like
we might
on stage,
verbatim said
like I
"fuck that guy."
literally like I think on stage in front of all these like creators, we are at our jobs. By the way, we're not creators. We work at this company, and we basically just were like, fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy,
and then everybody was like, hell yeah, brother.
Dude.
And we're like, we still cool, boss. And then boss is like, yeah. It's like, hell yeah, we just got to say fuck it works.
See, what you guys got to understand about slightly millennial core 2018 comedy
Oh my god,
is that it fucking landed.
it
all right?
landed, dude. We knew our
Ooh,
audience.
you get rewarded for jingling the keys in front of the baby.
All right, let's continue. Let's continue with the story.
On Friday night, I was told that I needed to pay for my own hotel room.
What?
Because her card declined and her identity was stolen. I worked in fraud for a long time. Not how it works.
Okay, so
The fact that it's a singular person is
and
a
that
point
they
of
haven't already
concern.
paid for the blocked off rooms.
yeah, okay, so now it's like not only like you're no longer at the con hotel, you're at the hotel across the street, whatever. It's a Days Inn. It's not gonna like shame that. But then they're like, oh, JK, also the card declined. Can you just pay for your room? Damn, I would have just booked at the fucking con hotel then.
No, it was declined and my identity was
My
stolen.
identity was stolen and I got a cold.
And you're bullying me
You
for
stop
this?
bullying me, dude. What the hell?
This is classic brown person aggression.
As a person of color in this space, We have to be particular about the things that we attach ourselves to. And I would like to officially detach myself from this situation, from this event organizer. The event organizer was someone that I trusted. She was one of my ARC readers. She'd been a reader of mine since the very, very beginning. Hot Mess Express. If you were there, I'm sorry that you had to deal with that. But let's believe everybody and their experiences when it comes to this.
You can hear the like how upset she is. Like I don't.
It's very
I also
measured,
think
but yeah,
when people are like, "Oh, these artists, they're mad because they weren't pampered or whatever," it's like they don't make that much money to begin with.
Yeah, first of all, they don't make that much money to begin with. Second, it's like a matter of respect at a certain point. It is a matter of failing expectations and promises undelivered. Like,
and putting the amount of stress on someone who should be a part of the reason why people love your event.
Yeah.
And even go to your event.
So I don't think we're going to show the whole thing, but in short, she wasn't paid. And maybe she'll get paid eventually because it's still a few days since the event, but still, you expect to be paid out.
Already a failure.
When they tell you you'll be paid. And she also needs to get reimbursed now for the hotel that she paid for.
But I can't believe that person's identity was stolen. That's
never fun. It's a good thing there's protections around that.
Yeah, their identity was stolen, so they removed their
Someone
bank.
stole my identity and started a whole convention. It was crazy.
If you can believe it, from January of last year onwards.
That wasn't me. That was my stolen identity.
That's what the guy from Fyre should have done.
Who's this one?
Okay, so this is from Callista Neath, who's also an author.
If any of my readers came here and you paid $250 for this, I am so sorry. I won't be coming back to any of these events. Like, this is atrocious.
It looks
This
like
is the
school
ball.
lunch. Wait, this is the hall also where the ball was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
so-
the same place.
I think it's like, yeah, a lot of stuff happened in the same room.
I mean,
Makes sense.
There is something. This has liminal energy. This is Backrooms core, and it's putting the heckles up on my neck. This is the same overhead lighting they have in like an interrogation room.
In a hospital.
I know. Couldn't they have just turned the lights down a little bit?
Yeah, did they get
It didn't look like they barely decorated
They
anything.
didn't change anything. The tables are still there.
They had it decorated, but it was the same guy that did the decor for Guantanamo Bay.
The tables are there, but not in the panel rooms.
Not useful.
It seems like it's more work to not have the tables, because like, don't those rooms exist in the hotels normally or in the conventions?
Yeah, that's a really
They're like, they didn't pay for the tables and chairs.
There's
Take them
no
out.
way those don't come with the venue. They have to. That's crazy.
BYO TAC. Bring your own tables and chairs. All right, let's hit play.
That we're seeing right now. This is the ball. It's in the basement of a convention center. That's a concrete floor. My fucking knees hurt.
I wouldn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Like, they usually have chairs where you can sit down. You're not
Wait a
standing
second.
all day.
A Million Lies, live 7 p.m. EST. Oh, she did a live
We should
stream about
mention
it.
also there was some text on the screen in that video saying that she got called a diva for complaining to an individual.
Everyone's being very generous.
They're being
with,
so generous.
like, not naming names and stuff.
Yeah, so this is from Percy J. Fantasy Author.
By the way, like, I have been, as we're talking about it, I've been looking up their Instagram and TikTok accounts, and all these authors look awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, everyone. This was real. This was a real fantasy ball that I just attended not even 12 hours ago.
Wow, this is fresh.
Hi, I'm Percy J.
Hello.
And I attended a Million Lives book festival in Baltimore.
Oh, yeah, brother.
It was even worse than what you're seeing. It is 6 a.m. I have no voice. My body hurts.
That seems like the consensus.
Everyone's in pain, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, there's
Physical,
physical
emotional.
agony, dude.
To stand up for however long the convention was.
No mics. Everyone had to yell. Everyone was standing for hours.
I bet
On
I'm sure
concrete.
the food was non-existent.
What do you mean food? Yeah. Like,
Dude, I would feel less threatened if I walked through the door into like a factory farm. That's like the scariest room I've ever seen.
and I'm in my pajamas because it's literally less embarrassing to be seen as a Dallas Cowboys fan than it was to be an author at this event.
Damn. Sports burn.
Is that a cultural consensus?
Well, Dallas Cowboys are like
they're America's
rich
team in quotes, but they're like if the Yankees didn't win a lot. Because they're
America's team, that's their branding?
Their branding is America's team,
That's
but
smart.
that happened when they were like really popular and good.
Good time to lock
And now
it
they're
in.
still really popular, but haven't been good for a long time. Is that mean to say, Dallas Cowboys fans? I'm not a big football person, so maybe this is what I think the understood narrative is. I have no feelings about the
like
Dallas
the Yankees,
Cowboys.
where it's like, this like popular mainstream team.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, then we're America's podcast. If we're just allowed to say it.
I want to be
then
America's podcast.
We're America's podcast.
That's our new tagline.
America's podcast.
I'm America's podcast.
Welcome to America's
No,
podcast.
stop.
And this is
You're
my
not a podcast.
friend.
We love you,
You're a
and
person.
we're America's podcast.
We're America's podcast.
We should keep that.
I'm American. Yeah, keep that in. Okay.
I mean, the show in general.
I'll try it.
Everything I am
is America's podcast.
Everything I am talking about is something that I have seen with my own eyeballs or heard with my own ears. Even if I did experience it and it's not my story to tell, I have permission from others to tell the story.
That
and if
rules.
I do put tea in here that I did not personally experience but only knew through other people, I will let you know that all of those facts are alleged, but are important to the context of the overall story.
Like when I'm at a convention and it's nighttime, I am fucking exhausted. The lights are off. I'm like either asleep, thinking about being asleep, or like relaxing, trying to relax before the next day.
You have that feeling of like dust on your skin,
Yeah.
clammy sweat kind of vibe.
The fact that Percy here is so activated to tell the story on no sleep is a testament to how bad this event is.
It speaks to a rage.
Yeah.
It speaks to a quiet rage.
A possessed rage.
Because this story starts 18 months ago.
Insane.
Because that's when we all put our deposits down. So I put down my $150 table fee back in February of 2024. I am not from Baltimore, Maryland. I'm from Texas. Which, yes, besties, I flew out for this.
Oh, no.
But I got in
Oh,
because
no.
a lot of my friends were going too. And I knew a lot of people attending. Because the creator
Okay.
reached out to a lot of people who were already pretty prominent in the indieverse sphere. And honestly, I was like, the table fee is $150. Why not? I'd paid more to be at
Sounds
events.
nice.
And because so many people were going that I wanted to see and hang out with,
Network
I planned a
effects.
lot of major life events around A Million Lives. I'm currently pregnant with twins.
Oh.
I planned my
million
pregnancy
and
around
two
this
lives.
event like a clown. I scheduled
Maybe she has 1 million babies.
my uncle-in-law's funeral around this event. I even paid
that's
extra
wild.
to sponsor this event. And let's get into that, shall we? Because you know I brought the receipts, girl. Peep the date. After Christmas of 2024.
Okay, pause. Sorry, I gotta read. Hi Percy. Thank you for choosing to sponsor A Million Lives Book Festival. Here are the options you selected on the form. Book Lover, free, donating items for VIP bags. Okay, so people get your stuff. Like when you go to a convention, a lot of times you'll get a little bag that has a bunch of stuff. A lot of it's sponsored stuff. Like when I went to PAX in 2012 or 2013, I remember Wizards of the Coast had a little sponsorship and there were Magic cards in there.
Respect.
And then me and Russell played Magic in line. That was maybe one of the last times I played Magic before I got back into it more recently.
You said to him, we got to grow up, man. It's time to move on from
Yeah,
this.
and then we walked out. We never played a video game again. Bookworm, $100. Logo on website. Author Takeover Day in Facebook group. Okay, I'm sure she's not paying for the Takeover Facebook group day. Author Focus Day with several posts about you and your books on social media. Seems like a good deal for $100. Small window or floor decal. I don't know what that means.
Oh,
like
like a
window decal where? What window?
You get one of yourself.
Yeah. Oh, maybe. Book Wyvern or Wyvern, depending on who you ask.
Oh.
Like when I'm killing Fossil Island wyverns in RuneScape, I say why.
I say wyvern.
Well, wouldn't Book Wyvern make more sense if the bookworm was spelled with the Y, like that kind of worm?
Right. I think book.
What?
Oh yeah. You're saying they should have called this bookworm WYRM.
Yeah.
Like
Because-
that would be way better. 100%
Yeah, because why
better.
did it jump from?
And that's the worst thing they did.
That's the worst thing they did.
That's the worst thing
Yeah.
they did.
Peeps. Leave him alone.
Yeah. All right.
Explain
Also,
some of
why is
this.
it like the same price to sponsor the event as to fucking go? Like that doesn't make any sense to me.
I ended up picking the highest tier of sponsorship because I'm just like, $250, why not? It's a good deal. So I sent them all of my things, my headshots, my covers, my logo, all that stuff. And on January 20th, they received my $250. But after that email exchange, it's pretty much crickets. I did not, in fact, get my author takeover day in the Facebook group. There was not a single post about me or my books, and I started counting the number of authors, vendors, and narrators that were actually coming to the event. It was slated at somewhere around 120. Those kind of numbers are huge.
That's so many.
But I had not seen any advertising on behalf of the management company for this event. And I looked up a lot of these authors, and a lot of them were brand new on the scene, fresh new indie authors. And the math was not mathing in my brain, because you cannot have 100+ authors, vendors, narrators and not advertise.
Yeah.
And then I saw
you can't have
only
5
posts on Archer Fantasy Events socials were offering the tickets at 40%.
Oh no.
That's when I knew that like ain't nobody was coming. And on the Wednesday before we all flew out, the featured authors got an email saying, hey, my rep at the Hilton has not been answering my phone calls or emails over the past week. Past week. Why wasn't this situated over a month ago?
Bro.
And said that she couldn't confirm bookings. And so she was instead moving all the featured authors to the Days Inn across the street.
I think people in general can be sometimes, and I don't even mean the people in this video, just globally, can be a little generous with accusing people of lying, like straight up lying. There is a type of lie that is only ever said when lying. Things like, quote, X or Y business, professional business, has not been answering my phone calls.
You've lied to me. You've told a fib.
That's never happened.
Yeah.
Like they can be being shitty. Business can be being shitty. The Hilton wasn't not unless you called them once at 3 a.m.
if your contact drops dead and no one fucking finds the body, then you call the Hilton up. And you go, has anybody heard from my contact? We're planning a giganto event.
It's just so that's the stuff which only comes out as lies. Oh man,
they didn't answer my calls and I got my identity stolen.
Mercy brought up a good point where she was like, they're not answering my calls this week. So why? This should have been sorted months ago.
Yeah, nothing should be figured out the week leading up to it.
Especially like a Hilton or any hotel right next to a convention center. There's no way they're not answering unless they've suddenly shut down.
It's happening at the hotel.
Hilton's actually out of business.
Oh, they forgot all the phones.
Yeah.
Dude, I'll leave this in because I want to. Maybe one day I will. But God, there's some stuff I want to say about liars that relate with this kind of email. The thing just I got screwed over on that one. I guess that's funny. I just want to talk about it. The person that they owe me so much money.
Okay.
So this was the original author vendor narrator setup. I was number 2 over here. All of my friends and other authors and vendors that I knew were also on the same row with me. Some of you who may have been to conventions before see this setup and go, hold up, I don't know if that's going to fly with Fyre code. And guess what?
Oh, shit.
This wasn't going to fly with Fyre code. So this was all completely different. Instead of having 2 big rows and then a bunch of like other rows like this, it was all just up and down horizontal.
That makes sense.
Yeah, because like if you have to run, like you can't, you're blocked. You have to do a fucking pole vault over.
If you have to Pac-Man your way around.
Yeah, the Red Rover line of authors that are boxing you in.
I mean, that is another, like, you just have to know basic shit.
Well, and like I've organized events like when I worked in museums. Where you have to talk.
The world's largest book festival.
I remember I did the grand opening for Disney World.
Yes.
Where you have to talk to the facilities person about setup.
Right.
You have to reply to emails, make phone calls.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't want to.
Wild Anastasia factor story has been marked on the bingo board.
Yeah, I was wondering what.
There's two heaters already, I think.
Also, we got an email from the event coordinator a few days before the event saying, let's clear up some rumors. which that's a heck of a way to start an email.
Sign,
I'll tell you
man.
what.
That's how you know they're fighting their own demons.
Oh yeah.
Like, because no one knows what you're talking about. Addressing the haters.
Like if I turn up to record an episode and I'm like, hey guys, can we just not get into it today?
Okay.
I know. Yeah, it's okay.
Well, first I want to address the rumors.
I didn't do that.
If they had been communicating with people, there wouldn't be rumors.
Well, maybe the rumor was they communicated with everyone and then they didn't reply.
Some of the rumors are saying that we didn't plan this festival. That is true. Another one of the rumors says that there's no chairs in the panel rooms. That is also true.
Some unreliable sources might have made the claim that I have been in a coma from late January until late April. You got me on that one. That was very much the case.
Some rumors are saying I'm not at inbox 0, and I am. I actually deleted all of my emails, and that's why I haven't seen any of them.
I don't know how to reply to stuff. I don't have an email.
We had our lunch break at noon, and to announce the lunch break, the event organizer walked into the event hall and just screamed that we're taking a lunch break. No bullhorn, no PA system.
That's how we break for lunch.
Eating.
Jacob yells at
lunch
us.
break!
We start throwing food.
School's out.
Also, we didn't have badges. The badges broke. The VIP ticket holders didn't have swag bags.
They
broke.
Well, that's a lie. Obviously, that's a.
It's another one.
The badges broke, and the Hilton died, and
A dog ate the
and
badges.
a dog ate my badges, and also a dog ate my identity.
I think it's less. It would be more. It would be a stronger PR move to be like, sorry, big logistical issue. We screwed up. No badges. Than to say something as absurd as
there's a part of their brain that's like, I need to protect my reputation.
I have tricked everyone so far. No one suspects a thing.
Everyone needs to just think that I'm the unluckiest person in the world.
If I tell them that I messed up the badges, they're going to realize I messed up other stuff. Right now, they think I'm crushing it.
I'm currently trying to DDoSHilton.com so the website goes down instead of being honest.
Instead of being like, fuck, dude, I missed a phone call.
No, Hilton. It's like a gigantic $1 trillion corporation.
They don't have phones.
I think they fell asleep.
I think their phones fell over or
their
something.
phones fell off.
The swag bags were thrown away by the convention center.
Cab, dude. Stop the cab.
They fell down a sewer.
Yeah, dude.
They got hit by a plane.
An elaborate Rube Goldberg machine resulted in the badges and swag bags being shredded.
Oh, I'm sorry,
so
guys.
There's and then burned. So there's no evidence that they ever existed.
Sorry, guys. The mistake I did make was I knocked over one domino, which bumped into a nickel that rolled onto a weighted
Unfortunately,
scale.
yes.
Oh,
and then which rolled into a gun. Pulled the trigger of a gun.
Top of the cannon factory.
Yeah. This was all an elaborate scheme to steal a bunch of swag.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, steal a bunch of bookmarks, dude.
To get some, like...
Finally, my plan is almost complete.
Gildan t-shirt.
I'll never forget my place in a book again.
That's what's
I'll
been
have a
holding them
bookmark for
back.
every page.
Where's page 18?
Oh, here we go.
You'll have to read the bookmark that says 18.
Oh, I've got the Hunger Games 2 bookmark for that one.
And so I know what you're thinking. There must have been a replacement for all of this. There must have been something.
They was thinking that, yeah.
No. I was like, what is going on?
She's not driving, is she?
Oh,
She's making too much eye contact with the
husband's
camera.
been catching occasional strays.
Oh, okay, cool.
Because it's reflected, right? That's why they're on the other side of it.
Right.
Because for a second, I'm like, which one's Britain? Which one's America?
And then people keep making TikToks in cars, but then most of the time, I don't think this happened to this, but TikTok marks your video as like being a dangerous activity.
Yeah, I've seen that before where it's like dangerous activity, do not repeat.
Yeah.
Peeps, did you spot when and you just confirm or deny, they just did something that was kind of a you mannerism? Did you see it?
No.
About like 5 seconds.
There must have been something. No.
I have seen you do that exact game. That is actually spooky.
Especially like no. Or like, no, you must think that this would be a normal situation, right? No. I
pursed lips.
It's like, that's something I never realized that I do, but as soon as you pointed it out, I was like, oh, every conversation I have ever, actually.
I just know it was the lips included. That was like scary. I was like, she's like your VTuber or something. Did you do mocap for this?
And I attended the Writing Diversity BIPOC panel because one of my really good friends was a panelist and I wanted to watch and learn. It did not take place at 1. I couldn't remember if it was like 1:30 or 2 or what.
Took place on the floor.
But now it's gonna bounce up against the Cruel Prince cosplay meetup.
No!
What a specific meetup on the main schedule.
How many people are going to be cosplaying it when there's only 40 attendees?
What is Cruel Prince?
No, it's got to be a.
I think it might be the name of a book series. But
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
Or maybe
That was my guess.
It's just like a mean guy.
Yeah, just mean princes. They're like, oh, are you
That
going
is
to
a type of guy in
You know my
books.
dad's a king. Oh, this prince is so cruel.
He's so cruel.
Mwah.
He's like shooting like spitballs at you.
God, that's cruel.
Oh God, stop! I spit on it and everything.
Oh, I actually read this book.
Mark it again on bingo.
I'm just gonna make an entire bingo board.
Mark it a
of
second
all
time.
of them are Anastasia
Just
saying
Anastasia.
something
I
we all
read
throw
this
out.
book.
I read this.
I wrote this book.
Oh, the author says Anastasia Vigo.
Oh, okay.
It's called The Cruel Prince by
Oh.
Holly Black. I've read this. I've read the it's a series. It's pretty fine.
Oh, yeah.
Did you read the
quote all of it
series
right
of
now.
books?
Yeah. It's good. It's very YA.
Would you do a cosplay meetup?
No, I can't even think
She
of
doesn't
what
even know
they
if she
look
read it.
like.
Well, that's because it's words on a page.
That's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
you've got to use your.
I gotta use my imagination.
imagination.
They're like fairies, so that it's like
course.
the Fey realm. So
Okay, cool.
ears.
Cool.
Nice.
Ears.
Cruel.
So the content creation room was open on Friday. I don't have a picture of it, but I'm gonna need you to trust me. You know that infamous picture from DashCon
Yes, sir.
with the ball pit in the
Yes.
empty room?
Mm-hmm.
Picture that exactly without the ball pit.
I said that earlier.
That is, God, that's miserable. At least
But
that
that's
room
what I
had chairs.
imagined when they said content creation room. Because what the fuck would you put in a content creation room?
It's just another room.
It's
right?
a room.
It's just a room.
Um,
Away
You'd
from
think
that
there'd be
scum.
some ring lights and some stands and some
Maybe one of those
backdrops.
little like stands you stand on the camera, goes around with your friends.
Yeah.
Something fun like that.
Like
right?
a ball pit.
I think the best way to wrap this up, especially with the reference to DashCon, is to hear from the creator of DashCon themselves.
I have a question for the people who attended the Million Lives Book Festival. What made y'all look at that and determine that was a trustworthy event you wanted to spend money on? Or
Not the victim
if
blaming.
you were an author, what made you feel confident attending as a guest and like promoting that to your followers? No judgment. I did create DashCon, so glass houses. But like I just took a look at that website and every single thing about it screams that this is somebody who has no idea what they're doing. That while there are no like malicious intents or anything, that whole thing is run by somebody who has very big dreams and no experience.
That is the most glass house. I would
that's-
say that's a sand house.
I think you live together.
Maybe that website hadn't been created when people signed on
yeah,
for
well,
it.
yeah, it's like one of those things where it's like, okay, I'm not gonna victim blame the creators. What did the
Also, it
comments
sounds
say?
like a lot of them personally knew the
Yeah, it's-
organizer and trusted
Yeah, they
them.
were in the community, and then
Yeah.
they had mutual friends, and it's like I feel like it's the network effects of a community that bring people to.
It's a matter of scale, right? Like you can overshoot and underdeliver, but that doesn't mean you have no chairs.
Yes.
That's a different thing.
Right.
If they followed through on their small promises, it would have been fine. It wasn't
Right.
impressive, but
I truly don't understand that clip of the lady saying, "I planned my pregnancy around this." You did what for a party?
But that's her career.
Yeah, it's her career.
It's
She's
not
doing
a
that to-
party.
that's
Yeah, it's not a party. It's her job.
Here's the thing. I look at this and I do understand like the basic sentiment of like, guys, we hear stories about terrible events all the time. Like maybe we, when I think about it, I'm like, I would probably execute like a little bit more diligence. But this is a career that is completely reliant on connections and
Yes.
networking. And if you live, you're working at home and you're writing, and in her case, she's about to have even more full-time obligation at home. You don't get a lot of chances to try a swing. And she thinks, okay, well, even if there's a 75% chance that this is a waste of time, it's $250. I can do it. I'm going to make it happen. Because there's always the off chance I meet somebody really good or at least have a positive time.
Yeah.
That is like, that's not what Fyre Fest was. That was people doing something it was kind of optional and it looked kind of fun. And they could have executed like maybe a little bit more cynicism.
Yeah.
This is like, Well,
It's
shit, man,
it's
they
a
have
career
life.
a career opportunity.
It's-
one
Well,
would imagine.
And to what you said earlier, Jordan, is that they have it hard enough. Like these indie authors, you do everything yourself. Half the time they're publishing their own work too. So it's like you and you're promoting your own work, you're doing all of this yourself. It's not a industry that really helps people out.
And it's lonely. Like, that's another part, is it would be really nice to go somewhere and actually get to spend time with other people that understand.
Knowing your friends are going to be there. Oh, cool. Awesome.
It's
I'll do it.
that's the weird thing to me. I'll never understand like this victim blamey. And if you feel that way, I don't understand posting about it.
Especially if you made Dashcon.
Especially if you made Dashcon. Because when she said glass houses, I like don't feel like it is enough to acknowledge. Because it's like,
I don't know if she knows what that expression means.
yeah, because she's like, I'm a mega hypocrite, but mega hypocrite thing.
Glass houses is kind of, that's like not one of those things you can front porch with. You know, if you go like, well, you know.
Glass houses.
I'm John Wayne Gacy, but I don't think anyone else should kill.
Why would someone
when
kill?
Someone goes, no offense, but it's like you're about to offend someone.
Yeah, execute tact.
That's what she just did.
Okay, so one thing I want to read here, author Genevieve James. This wasn't the event company's first event. That was alluded to in one of those TikToks. I signed at their last event and it went fairly well. They responded. The people at Archer Fantasy Management, whatever, Archer Fantasy Events. Maybe this is Grace that we've heard so much about. 16 seconds.
That's awesome.
16 seconds, comments off.
They go on, then they go, sorry. And then
16
they get off.
seconds,
Oh,
comments
bad.
off is crazy
Well,
work.
I've seen people make longer apologies related to like a disrespectful play at a fighting game.
She's not even going to finish her ukulele intro.
Dude, she's not going to be able to get it out in time.
Yeah.
Everybody, I am wanting to issue a formal apology. I do understand that the ball tonight was not set up to standards. There were a lot of issues with getting set up and it was not set up well. I want to apologize. If you would like a refund, please contact me and I will issue a refund immediately. Thank you.
So the apology was only for the ball.
That was really nice. To be fair, their identity got stolen and their phone fell in the toilet.
And they threw away all the tote bags.
The convention center did it.
It's literally like when someone does the thing where they're like, well, you're evil and you're annoying. And you go, well, hey, I'm not annoying.
Yeah, relax.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Do they have any other posts? The person who posted the 16-second apology inside of a washing machine. Did you hear the audio of that clip?
I mean, that's the ambient sound that I imagine that hallway would have.
It's in the walls, like moaning Myrtle.
Their whole account is just like screenshots and photos.
Oh, there's refunds. Let's check in. I wholeheartedly apologize for how the event. Oh wait, hold on. I need to jam out to the apology beat. Let's drop it. Wait. Bring that shit back, Jacob.
Run it. I wholeheartedly apologize for how the event turned out.
We are currently processing refunds as fast as we can. All refunds will be processed by May 31st. We thank and appreciate you for your patience. For your patience. And no refunds. Thanks for reading.
Sorry about the gala.
Sorry, the ball was below standard.
Didn't even.
That's the funniest way to apologize. Below standard.
It was
the
a little.
fuck is standard, dude. That's putting it lightly.
I do apologize. You know, looking at it now, it was, I think, worse than the Met Gala. I would say we took a step down.
It would have been funnier
Be on this.
if she had said, I'm sorry you were disappointed.
Yeah, I'm sorry you're such an idiot, like coward and shit.
Am I? Okay, I'm not in BookTok and I'm not in fantasy and I'm not in any of these worlds. However,
we're busy doing cool shit.
Archer Management sounds like a fucking real estate company and not a fantasy events company. Why isn't it like Pixie Dreamboat Productions?
Smiths and Brothers Fantasy.
Jacob, can we go to the apology? Because there's something insane in that one, the one that says just watched. So this says we take full responsibility for the way AML was handled. We are doing refunds for every attendee, author, and vendor. No. We are also canceling all of our future events. And we'll be processing refunds for those as well. Is there a song on that?
Too late now.
Dude, it's from Aesthetic Beats, so that's how you know it's good.
It's the same one.
Audio Jungle.
No.
It's about...
Fuck me.
We take full responsibility for the way AML was handled. Woo! Doing refunds for every attendee, period. Author, period. And vendor, period. We're also canceling our future events.
What a ludicrous choice.
Ludicrous.
That is that would have been more appropriate. Sorry, I don't. It's
Can we even
just the
play
image
these
of this
songs?
lady swiping through possible options.
And goes, this is the one.
People were mad at me
Here
before.
we are now.
God, 3.1 million views on that apology, but that's maybe just shouldn't have done it at all.
That's so crazy.
But the views, she's getting views. Come
It's true.
on, man.
That's generating the revenue to pay
They
people
should probably, maybe this is mean and maybe this is kicking them while they're down. They should probably take out the Elegant Nocturnal Social October 2025 out of their bio.
They should definitely take out A Million Lives Book Festival.
Yeah, well, that one makes sense because
you gotta know. Right?
You gotta know.
What's their? I was gonna say what's their most popular post. I'm an idiot. We know what their most popular one is.
Yes.
I'm dumb as a brick. What is that? Wait, what's that one at the top right?
I'm tired. That was a lot of fun, guys.
Who's this?
I don't know.
Wow, I hate him. It's
What's
so
your
crazy.
name?
I really don't
My
like him.
name's Pixie Dreamboat.
I like him less.
I'm like 9,000 years old, but I'm like really small.
Oh, yeah, okay. So it's still right then, I
So
hear.
it's okay.
A lot of people with like
Well,
anime
what's
episodes
okay?
tell me that.
I didn't imply what I was up to.
All right.
That was you.
Even
You
by
put-
association, I'm worried.
You put sex stuff in your head.
Jesus
That's
Christ.
not me.
I didn't say anything about that.
I just want to wholeheartedly apologize.
I'll be honest. I think I'm a relatively friendly guy. I hate you. Like I really don't like you, man.
Well, would it help if I played you the most aggressive song in the
Please,
world?
as long as it's loud. As long as it's really loud and long.
Oh my god. Okay.
Oh, fuck.
So
Madness.
that's I think where this tale ends. We sorry if it was a little bit scattered. We kind of decided to talk about this last minute because we became obsessed.
Thank you for taking this journey with us.
Yeah, and we know you love drama, and we're all about that shit, dog. We're all about it. Sorry.
Yeah, no. It sounds like he's dying, and I hope he is.
So yeah, we end every episode of Sad Boys. Wait. Thanks again to Clarabelle for sending me TikToks about this. We did draw a few ourselves, but it is really. I think if you hadn't sent that, we probably wouldn't have done this. So we'll link to her books. She writes a series called Witchlings, which is like a young adult fiction series. The book world was everyone was a chatter about this. I mean, it made it all the way to Senorita Dashcon. So
it managed to get to me, and I don't know if
You've
a
never
single
read a
book
book.
in my house has been opened. They mainly exist to sit on the coffee table. You're like, oh yeah, I'm into like shit.
It made it to me, and I'm like a 9,000-year-old pixie.
I'm gonna press you
who
with a
like
book.
doesn't do any sex
I'm
stuff.
gonna crush you with a Bible.
No. Not that.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to have a little lunch. Don't look me up. And then we are going to go on over to patreon.com/sadboys. Don't forget the Z to do our episode of Sad Boyz Nightz. Extra bonus episode just for the real ones. The character that has been present for the last few minutes will not be there.
Mostly because I'm in a book.
Yeah, I'm going to make sure of that. I'm going to lean on the book for long enough to where you become like a dried petal.
It's hard for me to. I can't breathe.
He's talking though.
These are my last words.
Okay, go ahead.
We end every episode of Sad Boys with a particular phrase.
We love you.
what was the new phrase that we had? It was like
We love you and we're America's podcast.
we love you and we're America's podcast. Okay, we're back in, and it was like an action movie getting back to the airport.
We were wearing suits.
Oh yeah, that was pretty cool. It was like we were both DB Cooper.
We were Mad Men.
Gucci girl, how you doing? How you moving, girl? Moving, girl. How's your day looking? That future girl, yeah, we on now. Take my money, go away, or you want it? Girl, too rich for me.